Welcome to Trauma Recovery Anonymous, the podcast. My name is Richard and I am your host. This program, Trauma Recovery Anonymous, believes that what happened in the past is not ours to suffer in the present moment in time. We only exist in these 24 hours that we have today. We can't step back into any of our yesterdays to change anything that happened in the past. I'm a 65-year-old man today. I live a life today with my wife and my children, my mother-in-law in our home in Asia. My family of origin are in Ireland. And this is who I am today. I can't step back into what I was doing yesterday or last week or last month or last year or what happened in my childhood 50 years ago. I'm a 65-year-old man today. I'm not a 12-year-old child from 50 years ago. And so what happened to that 12-year-old child is over. It's in one's history. We can't go back and change the history. We might regret the history. We might feel hard done by the history. But we have to understand what happened in the history happened to a different person. If I took a photograph of myself today and put it alongside that 12-year-old child who suffered the trauma in my childhood, you could see quite clearly we're two completely different people. I'm a grown man, 65 years of age, a husband, a father, a trauma recovery coach, a therapist. And a 12-year-old child, 50 years ago, is a child living at home with his parents and his siblings in Ireland and still going to school. Two completely different people. He's living his life 50 years ago, and I'm living my life today, 50 years later. We're not the same person having the same life. We're having two completely different life experiences. A 12-year-old child, 53 years ago, suffered a trauma event. This 65-year-old adult male today isn't suffering a trauma event of his own or of something that happened 53 years ago. I carry the memory of what happened to that 12-year-old child, and for a long time I carried sympathy pains for that child as a show of support and solidarity for what he went through. But that's the whole truth that we must embrace. He went through the trauma, not I. He suffered the trauma. He was the victim. Today, I didn't suffer the trauma. I am not suffering the trauma. I am the survivor, carrying the memory of what happened to him. It didn't happen to me. I can't go around telling the world, yes, I was abused 50 years ago, because I was never a 12-year-old child. I can only be a 65-year-old man. That's the truth that will set each of us free. If you're a veteran today, and you're looking back on when you enlisted to go off to fight in a war, well, no, if you're in your 60s or 70s years of age today, you're a 60 or 70-year-old man today. You're not an 18-year-old version of you who enlisted to go off to fight in a war. That was a different person in a completely different lifetime. Whatever that was for you 50, 60, 70 years ago. It happened to a younger aspect of you. It didn't happen to you. The war happened to a younger man, younger version of you, who was 18 or 19, who enlisted to go off to fight in a war. That person suffered the horrors of war. That person was the victim of the war, that young man. You're an old man today, looking back on what happened to that young man. You're the survivor today, and that young man was the victim. That's the truth. That's the only truth that comes to bearing into this. The idea that you can suffer for him in your present is a lie. You can't suffer the past because it didn't happen to you. You carry the memory of what happened to that young 18, 19-year-old younger version of you, and you carry sympathy pains for them as a show of support and solidarity for what they went through. But again, they went through it. That's why we refer to that younger version as our inner child. We're not an inner child today. We are an adult today. I'm a grown man, an adult, a husband and a father. That child wasn't a husband and a father. That child isn't an adult. He's a child. He's nowhere near losing his virginity in the proper way or getting married and having kids. He's a 12-year-old child who's about to experience a trauma event, not a 65-year-old man 50 years later who's past all that. So for me to turn around and say to you, yeah, I was abused as a child, is a lie, because I only exist in this moment, the I am moment. I am only 65 years of age. I can't go back to be the 65-year-old man I was yesterday, because he was a day younger. And I can't step into tomorrow and be a 65-year-old man tomorrow, because he'll be a day older. The version I am today is the only version that I can be. That's who I am today. And so I have to stop saying what happened in the past happened to me, or I was abused as a child, or I suffered a war in the past. It didn't happen to you or I of today. That's the truth that will set you free. You're not meant to find your meaning and purpose in what happened to your inner child all those years ago. Your meaning and purpose is to be found in the present moment. The idea is you go from victim to the survivor you are today, and then from the survivor you become a victor by letting go of the past, by realizing the past is none of your business, and if I can find some solution that will allow me to give the details and the baggage of the past back to my inner child, I will become the victor. And then out of the victor, we can then become the helper. We can help other people. That's your path to finding meaning and purpose in your life. You were a victim before. Now you're playing the role of victim and survivor, and you can't be two people at one time. You can't be a survivor of a trauma today and also lay claims to being a victim of the trauma too. Your younger self suffered, endured, and survived the trauma event that nearly destroyed them, but they came through it. They came through it for one reason and one reason only: to give you a life beyond their wildest dreams. And the fact that you're standing today, the fact that you're alive today, shows quite categorically that they defeated their trauma. So for you to take their trauma into your present and give life to it, you are betraying your inner child and you are destroying your life. Nobody else is doing this to you. You're choosing to declare yourself as the victim of a trauma that never happened to you. And bringing that past trauma into your life and giving life to it, you're bringing the death, decay and disease of a dead thing into your life. You're not a child, you're not a young man who enlisted. Today you are the survivor, whether you're a veteran of a war, veteran of a narcissistic relationship, you're a veteran of a child abuse. You are not the victim anymore. You cannot lay claim to the role of victim because you're not the victim today. You're standing today, 10, 20, 30, 40 years later, you're not the victim. You have to get that through your head. You're not the victim. All the therapists in the world might tell you you're a victim, but you're not the victim. You're not mentally ill. What happened in the past didn't happen to you. It's not yours to suffer. And your inner child wants to leave this plane of existence, but they can't leave until they have all the details and the baggage of the event. You are betraying your inner child by keeping them hostage in the present, by telling the world what happened to them happened to you. That's a terrible mistake you're making. You need to give the details and the baggage of the past event back to your inner child, and you'll see yourself having a conversation where they'll say to you, Richard, thank God you finally see me. I want to leave this plane of existence. This was a horror show for me. I defeated that trauma, so you'll be free today. I'm shocked that you're giving life to it, and you're choosing to be a second victim to my trauma. I defeated that trauma. Please let me go. Please give me back all that shit, all of the details and baggage of my trauma, so I can step into the light and be free. And in that moment, you give the details and the baggage of the event back to your inner child, and you see them step into the light. It's a lovely visualization technique that at the end of it, you feel the release in your body mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually. You feel as though a weight of the world is taken from your shoulders. You feel as though your chest opens up and you can finally breathe, that all the anxiety and fear is gone. All the stress and depression on your shoulders is gone. You feel this sense of well-being. You feel physically, you see yourself standing up, feeling free. And that moment you know the hole in your soul that was caused by the energy eating away at you, that energy is gone, and suddenly your soul is at peace. Your heart is at peace. Your mind clears, and you know it's gone. If your therapist asks you about the past again, you say, I know what happened to that young little Richard. I feel very sorry for him, but he's left this plane of existence, and he's taken his baggage with him. I now carry the memory of what happened to him, but that's all I carry. The details and the baggage are gone. It's not mine, it never was mine. I've no desire to go back there. I can't go back there. He's taken it, and he's stepped into the light. And that's the process. It takes 2 hours to complete. You have an obligation to your inner child to let them go. Not about being selfish, what you want or what you need. You have an obligation to your inner child to let your inner child leave this plane of existence. They suffered a trauma, whatever it was for you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And you have an obligation now to let them go. They don't want to be your hostage, your plaything, an inner child you play games with. They're not interested in that stupid idea. They want you to let them go. Let them step into the light. It's not about you and you healing you, because it didn't happen to you. It happened to your inner child. And if you really want to heal your inner child, let your inner child go. Make a decision to let them go. And this program, Trauma Recovery Anonymous, is the solution. You have a visualization where you give all of that energy of the past trauma back to your inner child. You see them step into the light, and you feel the release in your body mentally, physically, emotionally and spiritually. And this takes 2 hours. When you've completed that, you then do the 12-step program of Trauma Recovery Anonymous to undo the learned dysfunctional behaviours of that mental disorder diagnosis. You stop being a victim. You stop blaming the world, stop pushing people away. You make amends and restitution with your family and loved ones. You start becoming a part of life. And you go from you go from victim to survivor to victor, and then you become the helper. And you make a decision then to use what you've learned to help others you know in your community. To tell them about this program. To tell them you'll walk them through it. If you want to come along and do it, you'll do it with them. They'll tell them your experience of this. And you help others. There are 1 billion people in the world today misdiagnosed with mental disorders. Because you don't have a mental disorder. You know that in your heart and soul. What you have is a spiritual malady. You've made the mistake of bringing a past event into your present. And because of it, it's destroying your soul. It's eating away at your soul. And the only way to heal that soul is to allow your inner child to step into the light. To step into the mansion prepared for them in our Father's mansion. That they can go to a place heaven bound where there's no pain, no hurt. Where it's just peace and serenity. When they get there, they're so happy and so satisfied. And they take all their details with them. That the angels of God heal all that pain and hurt. And they're free. And in that moment of them being free, you then become free. You feel the release in your body. It really is a very simple program. For many of you who've been in therapy for 10, 20, 30 years, to find out today that all it takes is 3 hours, it can be quite frightening, a bit of a shock to the system. But this program has only become available now. It wasn't available 10 or 20 years ago. So unfortunately you had to travel that journey to get here. But now it's here, and you can do this program. Very, very simple. Go onto the Amazon platform. You purchase these 2 books, Healing Any Trauma Memory and Trauma Recovery Anonymous. Read through these 2 books, then send me an email. I charge for my service of taking people through this practice. It's a 3-hour event. I charge for the healing event. It's still at the reduced price of €60. It will go back to the proper price of €90 in a few months. For €60 now, you pay for the 2-hour healing event. And then I take you through the 12 steps of the Trauma Recovery Anonymous. At the end of that, you're free to have a life beyond your wildest dreams. You can still see your therapist and undo all the harm you have in your life and make amends to people and set healthy boundaries. But the past no longer troubles you. So when you go to work with your therapist, you're able to focus all your attention on what needs to be done in the present. There's no more going back to the past or suffering nightmares and flashbacks of what happened to your inner child, because it's gone. You're free of that completely. Only you can make this decision. Only you can decide to free your inner child. I can't free your inner child for you. You have to make that decision for you. You have to understand that you live your life today. And everything on your plate today is all of your business. And everything from yesterday back to your childhood is none of your business. It happened to younger aspects of you. Maybe there's more than one inner child you have to release. But there'll be one fundamental one where some major trauma happened. And that's the first one you have to release. So maybe you're a veteran, and it's the 18-year-old version of you who enlisted. Maybe someone who lost a loved one. Maybe someone who suffered a childhood trauma. Someone who married a narcissist. That's the person you have to let go. They want to leave, and you're the only one who can let them go. My name is Richard Tierney. This is Trauma Recovery Anonymous. I am the creator of this program, the host and facilitator. You can send me an email at appointments@Trauma Recovery Anonymous, and I will take you to this program online. It takes 3 hours of your time to complete the whole program. The books can be got on Amazon, and you can make your appointment at appointments@TraumaRecoveryAnonymous.com. There are 1 billion people in the world today misdiagnosed, I believe, with mental disorders when they actually have a spiritual illness, a hole in the soul, and they need to give the past back to their inner child to heal that hole in their soul. And so please, if you know anyone in your community who have been diagnosed with any form of mental disorder, the truth is that they have a spiritual sickness. And please share this program with them, that they can hear about this and they can do the work to be freed. Thank you very much.